No one owns the concept of a bunch of robots combining to form a larger super robot, or the themes of family and teamwork derived through the mechanical process of robots physically joining together to overcome an obstacle or fight other robots. These ideas have been around for decades as part of many different brands, and while they do inspire each other, it's hard to suggest that any one of them outright copied any one of the others. Legally, there is some squishiness with respect to inspiration, homage, tribute, or even simultaneous invention. Squishy though it may be, with enough money and the threat of prolonged legal action, even that squishiness can be lethal. Hi, I'm Dan Larson, and this is the history of the Mighty Orbots. The Mighty Orbots, not to be confused with Orgus, Orbits, or the Mighty Roy Orbison, is a 13-episode animated series that originally ran Saturday mornings in the United States on ABC from November to December of 1984.
Are you calling a cootie queen, you lint liquor?
It was developed as a joint production between Japanese animation studio TMS Entertainment and American producers Intermedia Entertainment. It was an original creation utilizing the look, tone, and feel of many Japanese animated series, but intended for the American audience who had had a bad case of Japanese robot fever, and the only cures were more Japanese robots, or abstinence. The Mighty Orbots are a group of sentient robots that can combine to form a giant super robot, also called Mighty Orbots. See, the group of Mighty Orbots, plural, is called the Mighty Orbots, and also the combined super robot is also called Mighty Orbots. So like, if you said, hey, can I have some Mighty Orbots? I would say, do you want them separate or combined? You would say, yes, please. Rob Simmons, the main human character, is also the inventor of the Mighty Orbots. He plays a Clark Kent Superman role within the world of the show. On the surface, he's a mild-mannered robot designer, but when duty calls, he serves the Galactic Patrol as commander of the Mighty Orbots, with the sole authority and ability to summon them to battle in defense of Earth. See, the 23rd century, where this story takes place, is a time of robots and aliens, and destruction and terror, kind of a good news, bad news thing. The Galactic Patrol serve as the defenders of the United Planets against the evil forces of Shadow and their leader, Lord Umbra, not to be confused with Umbros or Ombre. He's a giant cyborganic computer depicted as a five-eyed jellyfish kind of face with a gravelly voice, short temper, and, despite his protestations, a high tolerance for his plans being thwarted by the heroes. The Mighty Orbots roster includes feisty Ono, who serves as Rob's sidekick and co-pilot, as well as the heart of the giant combined robot. Mighty Tor is the brute strength of the group and also the torso and head in combined mode. Versatile Bort is like a Swiss Army knife, if you will. Like, I don't want to say that he transforms per se for legal reasons, but he does have the ability to shift shapes beyond his function as a leg of Mighty Orbots. Elusive Boo can manipulate energies to create force fields or turn invisible. She is joined by Bo, the master of the elements, as the two arms on the team, while Crunch, the metal muncher, finishes things off as a voracious energy converter, leg, and backup power source. Orbots is an anagram of robots, but also of brutes. Brutes was the working title when the pilot episode was shopped around to see if there was a network interested in picking it up for syndication. The 6-minute short is very close to the finished product, with most of the details in place. The brutes collectively combined to form Super Brutes, not to be confused with Brutes Campbell, Brutes Wayne, or Brutes Boxleitner. Once the show was sold, the details fell into place and the name was changed to the Mighty Orbots, and coincidentally enough, it premiered the same month as Transformers and the classic five-lion form of Voltron called Voltron. The Mighty Orbots was created by Barry Glassner and written by Buzz Dixon, Michael Reeves, Mark Scott Zicree, and others, several writers with a combined portfolio that includes just about every animated series created between 1980 and 2000, especially if it involved toy-based products. It was directed by Osamu Dezaki, who had television and movie credits that go back to the 1960s, including but not limited to Astro Boy, Lupin III, the original Frosty the Snowman, Guy King, Rainbow Bright, and Bionic 6. His work, his style would influence generations of animators. The Mighty Orbots had one of the most memorable theme songs by design. Composers Thomas Chase and Steve Rucker also worked on Gummy Bears, The Real Ghostbusters, Pirates of Dark Water, Captain Planet, Bionic 6, and lots of other stuff. A lot of industry veterans from both the United States and Japan came together to bring the Mighty Orbots to life, to help make it visually and narratively different, to make the Mighty Orbots into something more substantial than what was already being shown on a regular basis for super robot fare on American television. This wasn't a show cut together from previously existing footage repackaged for American audience the way fellow combiner Beast King Go Lion in Japan became Voltron in the US. And it wasn't merely a superficial instructional series of commercials designed to sell toys disguised as entertainment like Transformers. Because unlike both of those shows, there was no toy line to be sold. The Mighty Orbots, the show itself, was the product for sale.
Here, join the fun as the Mighty Orbots patrol the universe in another surprise-filled adventure.
Sounds good enough to eat.
Oh no! Lunch! Orbot, stop him before he eats the whole show!
And if that was the end of the story, just some talented creative people making an original show about a boy and the combining robots he invented, all saving the world together. Maybe there's 2 seasons. Maybe there is a toy line from Mattel who did acquire the master toy license. Maybe there's a live-action series in development now today, and we're all talking about how it could be cool if they can at least get the emotional beats right. In 1985, while reruns of the initial 13 episodes of the Mighty Orbots were still airing on ABC, Tonka, the company that owns the Gobots, took TMS Entertainment to court for what it alleged were false designation of origin, trademark infringement, unfair competition, and deceptive trade practices. Tonka believed that the name The Mighty Orbots was too close to their trademark branding, Gobots, Mighty Robots, Mighty Vehicles. Tonka asserted that TMS Entertainment was aware of the existence of Gobots branding in 1984 before the cartoon aired, and that subsequently this was a calculated move by TMS to take advantage of the value already built up by the Gobots brand since its debut a year prior in 1983. A bold claim for sure coming from Tonka, a company whose entire brand was built on the value already built into toys licensed from Japan. Gobots were known as Machine Robo before they were imported and repackaged for the US market, but that gave Tonka extra motivation to fully protect their brand in court, even if the argument was a bit squishy. Tonka, based out of Minnesota, asserted that each viewing of the Mighty Orbots cartoon by individual members of the audience, nearly 700,000 instances, constituted an infringement of their rights to which they, Tonka, were due compensation in some form. They believed that if this was the case for their state, then surely it was the case for every other state that Gobots were being sold in. Tonka was already facing the threat of losing market share to the incursion of Hasbro's popular Transformers, Matchbox's release of Voltron, and others. If they could stop one of the competitors with a cease and desist and maybe tack on some damages, they might survive the rising tide of changeable robots. Spoiler alert! Were the Mighty Orbots in any way derivative of the Gobots robots? The Gobots did have a combiner called Puzzler, but that wasn't released until 1985 after the Mighty Orbots aired. But beyond providing themselves protection for the launch of Puzzler, Tonka might have been thinking more strategically. The entire line of Tonka Gobots products depended on Machine Robo items licensed from a company called Poppy, which had recently been acquired by Bandai. It is possible that Tonka was interested in licensing other items from Bandai, like a 6-robot combiner called Godmars that looked an awful lot like the Mighty Orbots. Godmars aired in Japan in 1981 and 1982. It was the story of a baby named Mars who was sent to Earth by an evil emperor to grow up amongst humans, but then one day fulfill his destiny as the pilot of a robot called Gaia that was actually a bomb with the power to destroy the entire planet. To protect him, Mars's father sent 5 other robots to Earth that he could utilize to combine with his robot Gaia into a planetary defender called Godmars, while he worked for the elite Earth defense force called Crasher Squad. Squishily argued as it was, the action by Tonka was enough to deter Mattel from pursuing the release of any product while potential additional litigation loomed. Mattel produced a prototype that wasn't a repaint of Bandai's Godmars figure, but it was really close. If Mattel had been able to acquire the license to the Godmars toy, a deluxe Mighty Orbots toy probably would have just been a repaint or reissue of Godmars in a Mighty Orbots box. Ultimately, TMS Entertainment settled the suit out of court. While ratings were okay, the Mighty Orbots didn't have the strength to take out time-slot competitors, the Muppet Babies, and the Smurfs. No one at TMS, Intermedia, ABC, or Mattel were interested in what could be an expensive fight against Tonka. It was better business to simply move on. There were a few unlicensed items released around the world, including a tiny robot called Obot in Korea, as well as a deluxe Godmars figure in China with Mighty Orbots packaging, a very rare piece that offered a glimpse into what might have been if the licensing worked out in favor of TMS and Intermedia. The entire Mighty Orbots series, all 13 episodes, were released in 2018 on DVD and can still be found online from various retailers. If you're a longtime fan of the Mighty Orbots, or you're just discovering them today, right this moment, don't hold your breath for anyone doing anything else with the license as long as Warner Brothers still owns it, and people who remember Godmars, Gobots, and trademark law still live and walk among us. Thanks for watching. Please hit like, hit subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Thank you very much to those of you who already are. Check out our new merchandise available right below this video. If you're in the position to help the channel grow, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/toygalaxy. Share this video, and a very special thanks to Josh B from CollectionDX for helping out with photos of some of the unlicensed items and lots of other stuff. If you're not familiar with CollectionDX, it is one of the most comprehensive archives of robots, import toys, Japanese stuff, all kinds of things. CollectionDX is in danger of shutting down. Please take a moment and kick into the GoFundMe campaign. Link in the description below.